My 28M boyfriend prioritizes his friendship with a girl he met during our break, leaving me feeling like a third wheel. After she took him to an event I wanted to attend, I confronted him. "You talk me up, but I'm just second best," I said. He replied, "You don't want me to have fun." Now our connection feels strained. How can I reclaim my place in his life? This has been an ongoing issue for the past 8 to 10 months. In our relationship, we were essentially best friends for 4 years. We always did fun things together, and I would say we were both equally proactive and invested, always suggesting activities or wanting to spend time together. He loved being around me, and I truly felt secure in that because it was crystal clear and consistent. He stood up for me, ensured I was comfortable, and was always happiest when he saw me. This all created a perfect recipe for security. I understand what that security looks and feels like, and while I do not want to dwell on all the good parts right now, I want to emphasize that there is a very good reason we are in this situation. To summarize, my boyfriend has not been meeting my needs for bonding time together, but has been able to go out with his gay best friend. They are now doing something I requested months in advance for us to do together, and I feel I have reached a breaking point of jealousy. I think he might care about their relationship more than ours. I am unsure if I need more therapy or a backbone, as I struggle to trust myself and my feelings about whether I am overreacting or not. Please do not give breakup advice. This is clearly a seeking advice situation. I have no intention of allowing this to become a breaking point in our relationship, as there is so much I value. In recent weeks and months, he has made unexpected changes to make me feel happier, supported, and loved. He is always willing to help or do what he can in almost everything. However, this situation is a series of events that has turned into a significant issue for us, and I genuinely want to manage it instead of feeling so unsettled. Right now, we do not go out unless I repeatedly suggest it or plan it myself. He can get blackout drunk with his best friend, who is 27 years old, but he no longer goes out drinking with me, claiming he feels anxious about looking after me or getting me home. I have never caused issues when drinking, neither for him nor for friends. I have mentioned his performance issues when intoxicated before, but I do not believe that is too aggressive. When I propose just non-drinking activities or dates, he generally agrees and seems positive, but he does not put any effort into making those happen unless I firmly push and declare that it is an issue. He does not invest any effort in our bonding or going out effectively. The friend is a point of contention, and I will explain how this problem has escalated. I believe she is genuinely a nice person. I do not think she is doing anything wild, horrible, or offensive. She has been nice. I mention this because my boyfriend genuinely seems to believe I hate her, but I do not. I dislike how easily he gets along with her, and I have explained this countless times, which is why I find myself here talking to you all now. Honestly, I do not think she likes me based on past interactions, but I genuinely do not dislike her. I just feel hurt and, to be honest, awkward. She is single and has no interest in men, so I do not believe anything inappropriate is occurring regarding an affair. I do not feel uncomfortable or insecure about his other friends, who are all of similar ages, and almost all are women but are straight. You would think if it were an "I don't like you around women" issue, it would be with those friends who pose a potential risk of interest in him. Furthermore, I know he is factually loyal and would never cheat, as he would rather end the relationship than do anything like that. I do not think my issues stem from suspecting infidelity. They go out together most weekends or every other weekend. He insists it is only once a month, but over the past few weeks, he has seen her every weekend alone. If I want to spend a weekend with him, I have to book it in advance and ask him. He never suggested himself. We reserve one weeknight per week for our time, unless I specifically ask for something different. I have asked multiple times for more days and regular weekends, essentially for the past year, but it never happens consistently. He will agree but then expresses how exhausted and burnt out he feels more than before, or he agrees but becomes defensive, saying, fine, we will do these days. I end up backing off and feel guilty for requesting so much from him, as I genuinely see how he struggles with his mental health and do not want to exacerbate it. However, he does not make any effort to arrange outings or suggest ideas himself unless I raise the issue. You can understand how difficult it is to see him and her spending time together easily when he requires negotiation from me. About 3 years ago, we had a break in our relationship. There were mental health issues on both sides, we both acted unfairly, and we can comfortably say that we dropped the ball together. We spent a lot of time working on ourselves, and during the break we maintained contact and regularly came back together, missing each other, but it was hard. During this break, they became good friends through another friend, so they have known each other for about 2 years. They arranged to go to an event that I wanted to attend with him before our split. Obviously, we were not together when it was booked, so I know I cannot be upset about this at all. He was clear that it was her suggestion and that she did the planning. It was something we would typically do for a special birthday or anniversary, a romantic big date night that included a nice dinner, cocktails, and a show. I know some people go just as friends to such events. After it passed, I mentioned that it was always special and romantic for us, so could we save big events like we used to for each other as they mean a lot to me? He seemed to understand but reassured me that he did not view it as purely romantic. I am unsure if I am overreacting about that, but it is how I felt, and I wanted to be open and honest because it made me uncomfortable. There were no dramas at this point. Another event was announced shortly thereafter, similar but with a new theme. I asked him if we could attend together instead so I could have that experience with him because it means a lot to me. He agreed. Great, that was settled, we were doing well. A few months later, I asked to meet the new friend as she seems important to him. I wanted to get to know her better, so a night out was arranged. It felt awkward, to be honest, because as soon as I arrived, he sat next to her instead of me and they talked about people I did not know. I tried to make an effort, but I did not know what to say as I was unaware of the inside jokes or references to dramas they kept sharing. They would occasionally turn to ask me something and seemed happy I was there, but the conversation quickly returned to their topics. He sat across the table from me next to her, turned toward her, and I felt like a third wheel, trying not to habitually grab my phone, something I had not expected when he had reassured me so much before we met. It was embarrassing and awkward. I had never experienced that kind of discomfort before. I told him I felt like a third wheel when she went to the bathroom. He apologized, clearly not wanting that, and said he would do something about it, but I felt that way the whole night. I even mentioned it more than once when he tried to check in during the few private moments we had. We went to another bar where she introduced everyone, the four of us together, to the bartender but forgot to introduce me. Neither he nor she corrected it, and I tried to convince myself it was because we were drinking and I was just nervous. Unfortunately, with the third wheel feeling, I had already been feeling uneasy, wondering if I had acted poorly. We did sit down afterward, and she eventually sat next to me to chat. We made lighthearted fun of my boyfriend together, and I thought, oh my god, I was just being anxious. Finally, this is lovely and nice. I must have been overthinking everything in my head. We went to the bathroom together, as girls often do, and I thought we would have a moment away from the boys to talk a little. I tried to chat normally, but it seemed like she did not want to engage at all. Even walking to and from the bathroom, there was a complete lack of conversation, which confused me because I thought things had been going well and she would like to talk to me even a little bit one-on-one. I wondered if she was just being nice for my boyfriend's sake. His other female friends had always been very welcoming and made an effort to engage with me, so it was strange that this was the vibe with her and made me second-guess myself. As the night progressed, things felt more relaxed and improved. We were drinking and being silly together, and I thought I was genuinely getting along and feeling relieved about the awkwardness. As we were finally heading out for food, I accidentally cut myself, and while the injury was not serious, it looked rather nasty and I struggled to walk comfortably. Meanwhile, they had come out of the bar ahead of me and he linked arms with her, walking a bit ahead of me while giggling. It genuinely felt like he forgot I was there entirely, and it stung to see him having that kind of fun with someone else as he had always been so excited with me. I am sure that sounds petty, but I hope you can understand where I am coming from. He turned around and noticed me trailing a bit behind. He came to me, but I pushed him away a little, feeling angry seeing that. She turned around but then looked back and continued walking ahead of us. We sat on benches waiting for food and she saw I was hurt. I complained about how much it hurt, saying it was quite bothersome. She suggested we go home and he agreed, but she essentially told him not to be rude and to get a cab for me. He immediately grew cold with me. He booked the Uber in silence aside from complaining about the price. She left and he was evidently annoyed with me. When we got home, I tried to ask him what was wrong, and he became upset, pushing me away and with tears in his eyes said he had talked me up so much, saying I seemed like an angel, but I made him look like a jerk in front of his friends. He did not even know I had hurt myself, and he raised his voice, making it difficult to handle, especially while I was standing there a bit bloodied and sad myself. It was horrible. The next day he apologized, and we agreed the previous night must have been due to the alcohol. However, it really affected me. I had never seen him react like that toward me before, especially not tearful over someone else's opinion. Unfortunately, this incident has stuck with me, making me feel uncomfortable all the time. I brought it up to him when sober and expressed how difficult it was to feel like a third wheel and how to change things. Overall, it was just a bad experience for me and I was quite hurt. He seemed receptive. However, as I continued to raise the subject over time, he became aggravated, which I understood as it was being brought up multiple times. I should have addressed it once and moved on, but after our first conversation, I needed to talk more, to be honest, because I wanted to ensure I would not experience that kind of hurt again. The conversations became defensive on his side, and he rolled his eyes when I tried to explain how it felt to be a third wheel and that he could have sat between us or next to me to help me feel comfortable instead of sitting next to her and leaving me out. I was genuinely trying to explain so he could understand, and it would not happen that way again because it sucked, especially with how upset he got at the end of the last night over her opinion. He was frustrated that it was being brought up again as he thought it had been resolved. As it had now become an issue and had gone so poorly, he said he did not feel comfortable taking me out with her for an extended period. New Year's and his birthday came months later. I expected we would celebrate together as we had done every other year. I had taken him on vacations or outings, so this was not an unusual expectation. He had always been so happy and excited when spending time with me historically. However, he said he did not want to celebrate his birthday at all or spend New Year's Eve with me, but wanted to go out drinking with his friends instead. Unfortunately, he did not have a large group going out, so what he meant was that he wanted to hang out with her. I even asked him to clarify at the time. I pushed back because we were not celebrating any holidays together. We had not informed our families that we were back together. He was not ready, and I wanted to be involved in this. He went ahead with his plans and I attended, but I was so anxious he would be upset with me again or that I would become uncomfortable again. I ended up getting blackout drunk and cannot remember anything. A few weeks later, he admitted to me that he resented me for pushing him to celebrate with me, especially as nothing changed regarding my feelings or insecurities about his friendship. I had hoped that a nice experience would erase the awkwardness of the previous one. Now I feel entirely insecure about the whole situation. It feels strange, and I believe a significant part of our dynamic that I deeply valued has been replaced with someone else. We are not doing anything together, no dates, big or small. He becomes defensive about her and does not listen to my feelings of hurt. It has turned into a situation of you hate my friends and I love you, but I'm not cutting off my friends for you, which I have never asked and will never ask. The only thing I requested was not to attend that event without me as I had asked in advance. I do not think I am asking for something unreasonable. I just do not want to feel like I come last compared to someone else. I have expressed that I wish she had made more effort like his other female friends had who talked to me, asked me questions, and made me feel comfortable, but she did not seem particularly interested in getting to know me. He said I cannot expect it to not be awkward as she is new and not all women are inclined to be friends with each other. He stated she is gay, relaxed, and I should not expect anything different. While I acknowledge these are valid points, he uses those statements to assert that my problem lies with her and it is not. I know I have complained about her, but objectively she is not the issue. She is just unfortunately tied into it. Moreover, I can guarantee that my feelings of discomfort regarding her arise from my insecurity rather than anything she has done. I talked to my boyfriend about my feelings at the time. He has told me she has invited me out numerous times, but that he did not tell me due to drama. I truly do not believe she is the problem. It is all the other factors outside of that. I could manage just that if everything else was fine, if my needs were being met, and I did not have to fight for them. I would feel secure enough not to overly care if it took time for us to warm up to each other or if I overthought the vibe. I am an adult. I have witnessed awkward interactions turn into lovely friendships plenty of times. I would understand it more if he were cheating or doing something excessively messed up. While it would still feel horrible, it would at least make sense why it is so challenging to address and rectify. Months have passed since I first met her, and it has now become a taboo topic in our relationship. I feel sour over it and become reactive when she is mentioned, and nothing has been done to change the dynamic between us. Each time I try to discuss it, I express that we should spend more time together on dates, but he claims I am pushing for such requests, yet nothing changes because he clearly does not want to. While he is lovely, kind, and considerate in every other area of our relationship and has made significant emotional and mental strides over the past year, I recognize that it is a process when it comes to this kind of issue. I am attempting to be patient as we take things slow and rebuild after our previous breakup. I really am trying to avoid spiraling over these concerns, but all I ask for is quality time, healthy bonding activities, and normalcy in our relationship. He has said that he acknowledges it is unfair and appreciates how good I am about him having only female friends. I have expressed my worry about being overly jealous, and he has stated that he does not see me as a jealous girlfriend, which is comforting to hear given the situation. He understands that not enough is being done regarding us and appreciates my understanding. Thus, I feel justified in being patient. It is not like he is entirely unaware. I believe it just takes time. There are some mental health issues on his end that I do not want to delve into here, so I feel justified in understanding. I do not want to feel angry, and I feel more guilty than anything when I experience upset. He claims to understand when I express how things feel for me. He seems to truly get it in the moment. However, he has started avoiding conversations about her, hiding his texts, and not disclosing if he is doing anything with her. He claims this is due to how I respond. I do not lash out or say anything nasty, I just become clearly uncomfortable and unhappy. Therefore, he believes he should not tell me anything unless I explicitly ask. I know I become upset because I now feel insecure and inadequate in comparison, which is incredibly unpleasant. However, his hiding makes it seem like it is a much larger issue. I genuinely do not know if I am being unreasonable in this situation or if I am being selfish due to my insecurity. Technically, nothing has been done to violate my trust. He has not cheated, sticks to our routines, and tries to be available if I ask. If I do make plans with him, he accommodates them entirely. I feel stuck and have never experienced this level of insecurity in my life, especially regarding him. A couple of months later, she is going away for an extended period. He joked that it would be no problem for us for a few months, which felt a bit lighthearted. Before she left, she asked him if he was free on particular dates for a birthday surprise. He informed me of this, and I realized those dates were directly in line with the second event I had been asking him about and repeatedly mentioning it was important for us to do together. I began to panic because I knew that if he went with her instead of me, I would feel hurt and upset as I had clearly expressed how much I wanted to go. I do not want to feel like I am a crazy, jealous girlfriend, which is a disgusting thought that feels so foreign to me. I tried to talk to him, expressing that I wanted him to prioritize me, especially since he stated we would do it together. I suggested he simply say, "By the way, I am doing this with my girlfriend," before she leaves, as the event is months out and not yet set in stone. I expressed that it is hard for me because it is something special. I have specifically asked for us to do boundaries and all of that. However, it felt more like a conversation where I was instructing him on what to do, and he was already stressed that day, so it did not go well. I did not know how else to approach it without being confrontational. He assured me that it was not going to be anything special. She got him a plant or something silly and they would just go out. In fact, he does not even like the theme of the event this year. He stated he would only go for me because it was his least favorite event that he could not stand. Therefore, I thought, okay then, it will just be a plant pub. And I realized I was insecure and exacerbating the situation by trying to draw hard lines around non-existent problems. I remained upset but aimed to put it aside since he reassured me, albeit with annoyance. Months went by. We were supposed to go on a staycation for his birthday, but he requested that we skip it because it felt like too much for him and that he was uncomfortable doing something so significant. This was his birthday, so it was his choice. He said, "It has been so long since my birthday, the time has passed," even though he had previously mentioned wanting to wait for warm weather for us to go somewhere. We had gone away for my birthday without issue, and it was lovely, so it was not like there was a bad or unknown experience that would put him off going away. While I was obviously sad and admitted it felt like he was pushing me away, he argued that he did not want to do things together, which hurt me. I want to celebrate him and create lovely memories, but I did not push the issue further because I did not want to argue about how I wanted to celebrate his birthday. He made it clear that it was his birthday and he should not have to do what I want if he does not feel comfortable with it and just wants to let it pass. Nevertheless, that was something special that had now been retracted. Now that his friend is back from her trip, they have been out regularly since she returned, at least every other weekend. But when she was away, he consistently told me he had no time, energy, or money, or he simply would not make any plans unless I pushed. We had one weekend that I requested a month in advance, and the planning was just too much work for something I desired that should have come effortlessly. I know he is not secretly a great planner. It is hard to accept. I have become upset every time they are out together, as it is so much easier to do those things with her. He explained that it is because he does not worry or care about her. He can detach and leave after spending time with her whenever he feels like it. However, he actively worries about going out with me to ensure I am safe and taken care of. One night he went out saying he would be home that day, but when I tried to call him after receiving his text, he did not answer. At first, he said he could not talk, and when I asked why, he stated he was just out. I knew at that moment he was out with her again since he did not tell me until I specifically asked. He admitted that he does not tell me unless I ask directly, as he does not want to upset me. He said he would not lie to me, but that feels like complete omission to me. Fast forward to this week, the event is approaching. He has made no plans with me and I have been about this event since last year, stressing the importance of it. He was quite firm in our earlier discussions about boundaries, and remember, he said it was his least favorite event. Now it turns out he would go for me. I have accepted that I might miss out on this event or would have to go alone, as I did not want to create further upset. It was not like he was doing it for someone else. Well, she inadvertently revealed one night that she was taking him to the event for his birthday surprise. I felt upset, just as I suspected I would. I thought after all this, he might say something or anything because this situation is increasingly building up resentment, and it severely impacted my feelings. I figured something could not harm a good friendship if it were simply about respecting a partner's wishes, as I had explained my feelings about the event months ago. He responded that he would just go with her and say nothing and does not understand why I am upset. He believes he should not cancel or ask to change plans, not even suggest alternatives, because that would damage their friendship and potentially hinder any chance of her and me becoming friends in the future. Although he does not necessarily need to blame me, he could easily explain that he stated months ago he would go with me and does not want to disregard that. I do not think that is unreasonable from a friend. but I am undoubtedly biased here, even if I strive to remain level-headed. Over recent conversations, he expressed his hesitations about being proactive, believing that my feelings about him not going out for drinks with me like before indicate I do not care about his mental health. He feels anxious about looking after me or acting in a way that I might not like, but I have no issues regarding drinking or being volatile when drunk. I am silly and overly affectionate, and he claims he can only be around her and most of his other friends if he has consumed some drinks. He insists he is not close with her at all and that they do not discuss anything of importance. He has voiced his fear of me waking up one day and realizing he is terrible, leading me to leave him. He believes that fear is rooted in his imposter syndrome. Recently, he has been making more time for me and has been more vocal about planning activities. He has booked something for us in a month, but it felt as though it was a response to my recent questioning, which unfortunately feels a bit odd after everything we have been through. I am expressing gratitude to him for it, otherwise it would be counterproductive to my well-being. However, he mentioned he does not believe I am grateful for such gestures, which genuinely surprised me. I wrote down everything that hurt me, not just about this one experience, but also regarding our time together, trust, his avoidance not involving our families, and how everything built up to something I can no longer patiently handle. I acknowledged my contributions to our issues and we managed to discuss it. He seemed to resonate with my feelings, recognizing it as a problem that leaves a horrible impression on me. I expressed that I feel like a jealous, crazy girlfriend, and he repeatedly reassured me that he does not view my actions as such. That confusion left me pondering his sincerity, but it was comforting to hear. I explained I missed him as my best friend, and he said that made him sad because he believes we are still best friends in all important ways. However, he has also expressed that many of the best friend moments I miss were rooted in codependency, which I do not completely agree with. Codependency felt more about a lack of independence and boundaries, rather than just not being each other's favorites and enjoying each other's company. Now I am beginning to feel that if he is not accommodating me because of a fear that will lead to codependency, it is a valid concern, but it prevents us from moving forward if I am held at arm's length from his life because of it. I do not want to break up with him. This is a very negative word vomit, so I understand how it appears. You are only hearing this perspective because these emotions are what I cannot escape from at this moment. We have discussed that we have a few issues as a couple, but the ones we do have will require work. Many people may say we should have stayed broken up, but I do not believe that is true. Plenty of people repair relationships, manage insecurities, and that is acceptable. Working through problems and extending forgiveness is normal. Many couples remain together through deep love for long periods. I genuinely think he is a wonderful, kind, funny, loyal, thoughtful, generous, practical, interesting, and loving person. I also know he loves me as he shows it in various ways. Nonetheless, I miss the effort and focus he had for our relationship before and the security and safety I felt. I understand that it will not be like before, and I would not want that as we had things to work on. I do not need to be everything to him. I am happy that he has friends and family and is making efforts on those relationships, but I do not want to fight for my priority status. We have worked too hard to build something positive together, and I have zero desire to throw that away. I believe that most relationships can be repaired with empathy, kindness, boundaries, and honesty, barring massive betrayal or abuse. Love alone cannot always suffice when facing challenges. At this time, I am unsure how to improve the situation without entirely suppressing my feelings. I feel as though I should just swallow my emotions and push forward instead of causing stress. But if my friend were to say the same to me, I would think that is not healthy advice. That is part of why I am here seeking your thoughts. I genuinely do not know if I am being unreasonable or selfish, as both options seem very plausible as I try to process this situation. I have received personal advice in real life, but I find that it can be biased. Even when they attempt to be fair, it is a natural inclination. I have significant self-esteem issues that I am working on, which makes me struggle to be open and honest when I am unhappy about something. I typically convince myself it is only me overthinking. I have tried my best to address this situation, and now I am uncertain if I have overreacted. I know there are things to work on for us to be better, and he has taken steps toward improvement and intends to progress in that direction. However, I would like to manage my discomfort regarding his friendship better, as it has become a continual and lengthy issue for us. I miss our friendship. I miss feeling secure about my place in his life, and I truly, pathetically miss being his favorite. I have a therapist, but we are currently on a break for a few months. I understand that a significant amount of insecurity has surfaced that I need to resolve independently alongside this situation, and that is one part of the solution. But what is the rest? I have been writing this post over a couple of days, so this serves as an update before providing any more details. We did end up speaking, and I suggested we should experience the event together first, as he inquired about solutions that did not involve canceling with her. However, when we attended, it felt forced, as if I had pressured him into being there with me, which diminished how special it was for me. He mentioned he did not feel well and appeared anxious, so I cannot blame him for that, but it was still disappointing. While we were out and discussing things, I expressed that I truly appreciated our time together and that he had booked something for us in the future. He responded, "I like to think you appreciate these things, but it does not feel that way to me." When I attempted to discuss it further, he asked if we could just enjoy the day. Later, he did not answer my call to check in, and an hour later, he texted me to apologize for missing my call and to check in. I felt anxious about the day's events and wanted to avoid burdening him with my feelings, so I did not reply until much later that evening. He then explained that my delayed response bothered him because we had not spoken that day, and I robbed him of the opportunity to comfort me. To be honest, I would have reached out had he not responded. He told me that they spoke and that she admitted to him it was an overstep to make those plans. She had been told by another person as well. Within our discussion, he stated that he mentioned it to her, explaining it felt inappropriate. She seemed to understand. However, the fact that both of them recognized it was inappropriate and proceeded anyway makes it worse because now it feels as if I was right to be uncomfortable and my partner does not care to place our relationship ahead. He and I argued, and I shared that it feels like she is a stand-in girlfriend for all the enjoyable moments, which he interpreted as me asserting that he could do nothing nice with his friends. I clarified that when I met another female friend of his, she made an effort with me and he was equally engaged with me. Therefore, the contrast between these two friendships have manifested in differences in comfort and security. I am uncertain and uncomfortable with the dynamic he has with her. If I am being codependent by wanting him to prioritize me, please let me know. I do not intend to diminish the importance of friendships. They are valuable and I want him to maintain them. However, it feels like he is providing less of a boyfriend experience for me as I handle the emotional, vulnerable, and intimate aspects of our relationship, while he seems eager to engage with her in fun or special experiences, finding her wonderful. I feel that he jeopardized our relationship with this situation because it affected me profoundly and he appears to care more about her than he does for me. He insists this is not the case, but I find it hard to believe that. I apologize for the length of this message. I felt compelled to include sufficient context to convey the nuances of this situation, as leaving out details would misrepresent either him or myself. Thank you for taking the time to read this.